For them, Tamil lives are not important, and we sacrificed 40,000 lives at that period. There is the smell of the blood still in our hands. And as Lady Macbeth said in the sleepwalking scene, all the perfumes of Arabia will not sweeten our dirty hands.
Sorry. So, thank you for coming. And
as you know, the state of emergency is being allowed.
Take the case in April 1971, when the Sinhalese educated youth raised the banner of revolt, armed revolt against Mrs. Bandaranaike. My friend Gopal was the intelligence officer in the Indian High Commission at that time. At that time, it was located in the State Bank of India building. He took the next available flight to Thiruvananthapuram, immediately got in touch with Foreign Secretary T.N. Kaul, and we rushed our forces. Our planes flew from Bangalore, our ships sailed from Cochin and Madras, because at that time there were rumors that North Koreans may provide armed support to the JVP. So the government survived because of spontaneous Indian help. How did Sri Lanka respond? 6 months later, the East Pakistani crisis had developed in a very big way. We banned the overflights from West Pakistan to East Pakistan. So the Pakistani soldiers in civilian clothes used to come in Pakistani Air Force planes to Colombo and then moved to Dhaka. They put down in a savage manner the Bangladeshi uprising and all. The second one, after the India-Sri Lanka Accord in 1987, when on the invitation of President Jayawardene, the IPK was inducted, the IPK looked after, within quotes, the Tamil guerrillas in the north and the east, so the Sri Lankan army could withdraw and tackle the problem of the JVP in the south. In fact, those periods is called by the Sinhalese as Bhishana Samaya, the days of terror. When those two rivers of exquisite beauty in southern part of Sri Lanka, Kalaniya Ganga and Mahaveli Ganga, were clogged with dead bodies and foamed with blood. 100,000 people, Sinhalese youth, were massacred at that time. I used to tell my Tamil friends, the Sinhalese army have no qualms of conscience in killing their own people. Why should they worry about the Tamils? Third one, December 2004, when tsunami struck Sri Lanka. Commodore Boston was at that time in the Coast Guard, and we extended spontaneous help to the Sri Lanka. But the Sri Lankans interpreted it in another way. They said if they can come in 24 hours, if they want to annex us, they can also do that thing. In fourth dilemma, I'll touch upon another one. What had been India's policy?
Kanta will be coming at 10:10, so I got another 5 minutes. He's joining us from Delhi.
One more point and then I shall finish.
You have 5 more minutes, no problem.
What had been India's policy towards the neighbors? One basic policy was we should not allow the ethnic problem and the minority problem to be solved militarily. In May 1987, the Sri Lanka enacted a law by which dead bodies could be disposed of without inquest. Shankar Bajpai, who was at that time Additional Secretary in the Ministry of External Affairs, called Bernard Tilakaratne and told him, you enacted a law which even the apartheid regime in South Africa never did it. Bernard Tilakaratne had the temerity to ask Bajpai, he said, New Delhi is speaking or Tamil Nadu is speaking through New Delhi? Then Bajpai told him it is India's reason. When the July Holocaust took place, Indira Gandhi did not ask for the permission of Jayawardene. She rang him up and said, tomorrow Narasimha Rao is coming to study the situation. In 1987, when the Operation Vadamarachi took place, and the LTT guerrillas were running away from the scene, we dropped food, which led to finally the signing of the accord. So, but during the Fourth Sri Lankan War, what did you do? The Sri Lankan armed forces knew that if they had to succeed in their effort, there should be no repercussions in Tamil Nadu. So they consolidated the whole from Talaimanar to the outer islands in Jaffna. And on the Indian side, Commodore Watson was looking after so the refugees did not come to India. So if you look at the statistics of the flow of refugees in India, the Fourth Sri Lankan War period shows a rapid decline. And as we all know, during the Fourth Sri Lankan War, there was savage bombing of orphanages, schools, hospitals, etc. And 40,000 people, according to the UN, innocent people died at that time. I was a member of the National Security Advisory Board at that time, and I told Shankar Bajpayee, who was at that time the convener, that I want to speak on Sri Lanka. So he asked Tirumurthy, who was the Joint Secretary of Sri Lanka at that time, to speak first. Then asked me. Then I told him that it will be in India's interest. It will be in the great traditions of Indian diplomacy. We should have forced Sri Lanka to declare a ceasefire and rescue those innocent Tamils who are caught between the Sinhalese lions and the Tamil tigers, and then carry on the fight. I was the first one in India to brand Prabhakaran as a Pol Potist. Carry on the fight after that, but rescue. But out of 27 members, only 9 supported me. The majority of them, for them, Tamil lives are not important. And we sacrificed 40,000 lives at that period. There is the smell of the blood still in our hands. And as Lady Macbeth said in the sleepwalking scene, all the perfumes of Arabia will not sweeten our dirty hands. Now, this policy of not allowing minority problem, ethnic problem to be solved by military means should still be the basis of our. I shall come to the.